had a documentary, we've had a crime drama, we've had a fantasy drama, so surely it's time for some comedy. Yes, and on BBC iPlayer, we have the return of Such Brave Girls. And here's a clip.
Did you know they've got problems with money?
Now you're saying that, it is ringing a bell.
I will not have any more dead weight in this house.
She's released herself from the shackles of the patriarchy.
Look at yourself, woman. Mascara down your face, unshaved armpits. You know who you are. I'm Josie.
Yes, we do. And this will have you laughing, but it's not laugh out loud stuff. It's very, very dry humour, but it just has you sort of tickling, all the way along and sort of like, oh my God, how could they say that? Oh, wow. It's so, so dry. So I would suggest you watch the previous outing of this because I think it will help set you up, but I don't think it's a necessity. It's quite quickly you'll get to know the characters, the main characters, Josie, Billy and their mum Deb. It's completely chaotic and it's all based around these women's love lives, and it's not for the faint-hearted. It's fairly rude, for want of a better word, quite near the knuckle at times. But it's really raucous and it's really funny, and it probably it's just unfiltered, I suppose is the best way to say it. It's just completely unfiltered. And so the first episode starts with Josie being forced, I would say, to marry somebody she doesn't want to marry. Now she's a lesbian. She doesn't want to marry a man. It's as simple as that. But her mother is forcing her. Her sister is kind of the princess sister who wants that fairy tale wedding, and of course Josie doesn't. And it's very, I suppose, slapstick in that way because it's so chaotic. She doesn't want to get married, but does everything that her mother tells her to. Meanwhile, on the flip side, you can see the guy she's about to marry and his father. His father is dating Josie's mum, Deb, and so there's some issues kind of around them. For example, she told him that her husband had died when actually he hadn't. And I think one of the biggest things for me is this relationship between the mum and the daughter. And by the way, Josie and Billy, I believe, are sisters in real life. So there's a real massive chemistry there anyway. And I think it's quite palpable actually. It feels very, very genuine for good reason. But it's the relationship between mother and daughter that I found particularly interesting because, you're always considering what you're saying to children, aren't you? You're creating them. You're making a mould of them. You're kind of, they're impressionable. And she just completely, literally is so horrible to her. It's unbelievable. She's absolutely horrible. And she's obsessed with her getting married and being looked after because, of course, her husband walked away and she wants her to have the man that looks after her. It doesn't matter whether she loves him or not. He needs to provide for her, and that's what she wants. And, of course, Josie doesn't want that at all. And, Josie's a pretty neurotic character. She suffers with her mental health, and it just tickles me the whole way through. It's really, really. I've watched the first 2 episodes of this, and I did binge them. And you can get on and do other stuff while you're watching it actually. But you'll just sort of giggle away to yourself as you go and think, oh my God, I can't believe she's saying that. I can't believe that's happening. It's all really quite incredible and really quite unbelievable, but it will have you laughing. What do you think, Ian?
It is superb, and it put me slightly in mind of the brilliant Pulling, which was the comedy that sort of brought Sharon Horgan to everyone's attention now, and I feel the tone of it and the quality of the writing is very reminiscent of Sharon Horgan, all about kind of dysfunctional families, and perhaps a little bit of Julia Davis in there as well. And Kat Sadler, who stars and created it, she was actually sectioned for her mental health in 2020, so she knows what she's writing about. The performances are hilarious. So yeah, as you say, you've got Josie, who's very neurotic, played by Kat. And yes, her real-life sibling, Lizzie Davidson, plays Billy, who in this she's dating an older man who is played by Daniel Ryan from The Bay. And yeah, the mum, Deb, played by Louise Brealy, she's a monster, isn't she? And it's a very funny look at, dysfunction, isn't it? And as you say, there's a lot of stuff about you know, you're going to be a kept woman, as if that's like the be all and end all of a woman's life. So yeah, I think it's so good, and it's won awards. Series one deservedly won awards. It really is. If you like Horgan and Davis, you're going to like this.